Hello kings and queens, and welcome back to The Art of Life and Love. This channel is an extension of my creative writing and wellness blog, also called The Art of Life and Love. I'll put a link to it down below, along with links to my social media, so you can go follow me on Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm talking about in this video. Drop me a few comments if you'd like to engage with me. Let me know what your thoughts are, if you have any other lessons that you have personally learned. As per my last few videos, this is a continuing series of my 2020 lessons. You know, we're coming to the end of what's been a very strenuous year on the collective, on the world in general. And me in particular, I have been through a lot that isn't COVID related, and I've learned a lot about myself, about my situations, about my beliefs, about my worth. And I just thought I would set up these series of videos just to share with you, each week 5 lessons that I've learned that you can apply to your own life in order to improve your mental, physical, and spiritual health. So my first lesson for this week is that other people's opinions of you are not your responsibility. How people perceive you is not your responsibility. How people react to you and your actions is not your responsibility. How people talk to you, how they act around you, what they do near you, for you, by you, anything is not your responsibility. The only responsibility you have is for you. Your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual and emotional health, your responsibility. Your actions, what you say, what you do, your responsibility. How you react to triggers, how you react to other people, your responsibility. And that has been a very, very hard lesson for me to learn this year, but one that has helped me greatly, and I think will help you greatly too. As soon as you understand that the only responsibility you have is for your own well-being, your own actions, etc., then it's rather freeing, because then you don't have to spend time worrying. A lot of the time, anxiety is basically just constant worrying, constant overthinking, constant projection onto other people. And once you cut that out, once you stop doing that, once you stop believing that you can manipulate other people into liking you, not liking you, sponsoring you, anything, then it frees you. It frees your mind, it clears your mind, it allows you to focus on the person that's truly important, which is you. And yeah, that's been a huge lesson for me this year, that I am responsible for how I act. I am responsible for my own well-being. I am responsible for healing myself. No one else is responsible for that. And this is a lesson that I had to learn from my previous role, my previous job as well. I am quite introverted. So when I entered a project management office, and project managers are usually quite extroverted people, we're loud, we tell people what to do, all of this. And when I entered that new environment, people didn't like me, because they said that I didn't gel. They said that I didn't get on with them. They said that I didn't engage with them, that I didn't say hello to them in the hallway, even though I said hello to them about 20 seconds ago when they left the bathroom. People were annoyed that I had my headphones in, getting on with my work. My boss even said to me, "Joanna, the work you're doing is amazing, but I've got some negative reviews about you, negative responses from your colleagues." And I wish someone had told me then what I'm telling you guys now, that their perception of me is not my responsibility. Yes, I can try and act more extroverted and engage a bit more, but if you have a negative perception of me because I'm quiet, that's more of a reflection on you than it is on me. And at the end of the day, they don't matter. None of them matter. So yeah, take that with you into any aspect of life that you want, whether that's perceptions people have of you at work, whether that's things people say about you in your friendship groups, any of that. Just know that the only thing that you can truly control is yourself. And once you understand that, you will be set free, and you will manage to find some modicum of peace internally. My second lesson of 2020 is that all pain passes. And this is actually a mantra that I have been saying to myself for years, whether that's a rough time on the toilet, or if that's because I've stubbed my toe, or even if during the depths of my depression, I've always said to myself, all pain passes. And if you look at your own lives, you will see that I'm speaking the truth. Every time that you've gone through a situation that has been painful, whether that has been physical pain, whether that's been emotional pain, whether that's been depressive pain that really brings you down and is kind of this dull ache in your chest rather than any form of kind of physical manifestation, it has always come to an end. Now, that's not to say it doesn't come back and repeat in cycles, but the cycle that you're currently in will come to an end. The pain will pass. The storm will end. And that is a really, really huge lesson, because it allows you to weather the worst parts of your storm so that you can enjoy the serenity of your calm waters. And for me especially, it really helps to actually say that out loud as an affirmation to myself, all pain passes. So that when I'm in the depths of whatever painful thing that I'm going through, if I just say to myself, this will end, all pain passes, it helps mentally as well as physically and emotionally. So that is my second lesson of this week's 2020 series. All pain passes. It's something I might even get tattooed on myself one day, because it's that inbuilt into my vocabulary now. I love it. All pain passes. My third lesson this week from 2020 is that you need to allow yourself time to rest and recharge. And I think all of us can resonate with this one, especially because of what we've been through collectively this year. The lockdowns, being forced to take that time to rest and recharge. When some of us may have been almost near burnout, because I know I definitely burnt myself out beginning of this year. And although the pandemic has been unfortunate, it has cost a lot of people their lives. It has damaged the economy. It has damaged the people's trust in the government to lead them in a way that has their best interests at heart. But one thing it has taught us and forced us to do is to slow down. And that is something that we need to carry forward with us into the new year. Just because we're coming out of lockdown, just because a vaccine is available very, very soon that will allow us hopefully to go back to normal, it doesn't mean that we should forget the lesson that we've learned this year, the things that we have been taught. And one of the massive lessons that we were taught this year is that we need to slow down. Rest yourself when you need rest. Take that time to recharge. Do not push yourself to your absolute limits, because that's just not healthy and it's not a great way to live your life. So when your body is telling you to, listen to it, slow down, rest, say no to that 40th social event of the weekend, say no to that party that someone invited you to 2 months ago. Turn off your phone and stop looking at social media. Turn off the news, because it's trash anyway. They're not telling you the news, they're telling you what they want you to hear. Turn it off, because everything that you take in will manifest itself within you. And that's something that you really need to understand. So use the time that you have, listen to your body, take time to rest and recharge. Go away for a little bit, especially if you're introverted. My favorite thing to do as an introvert is to be like, right, this month I'm retreating. No one call me. No one talk to me. All right, it's not that extreme, but I'll have times as an introvert where I just retreat. I retreat and I take time to myself. And it's a lot easier for us introverts to do, because we need to do it. We need to restore our social meters, recharge our batteries. Whereas extroverts, you don't need to as much, but it is something that you should still do every now and then. You should still check in with yourself, and you should still take time to rest. So my fourth lesson this week is that you should know when to compromise and when not to compromise. I am a self-confessed codependent. Basically, if you are codependent, you're just an extreme people pleaser. You have this extreme desire to please people, to help people, to gift people, to pull people out of their struggles. Even though I am a codependent, and that does make me a firm believer in boundaries, I do believe that you need, in order to love yourself and love others and allow people into your spaces, you do need to understand how to compromise with people. And that, for me, is something that I've learned, especially in my relationships, because yes, I'm very focused on respecting myself, knowing my worth, setting my boundaries, but I also have people in my life that I really deeply love, and I don't want to keep pushing them away. I don't want to keep them out. So sometimes I will make compromises. I have soft boundaries and I have hard boundaries, and I think that's how we need to work it. If you make every single boundary that you have a hard boundary, then you're well within your right to do that, but you will end up alienating a lot of the people who are good for you, a lot of people who love you and want you around and want to do things with you and all of this. And obviously it depends on the type of boundary that you're setting. Every case is going to be unique to the individual, but in my personal opinion, I think that you need to understand how to compromise with your loved ones, and not just focus on yourself all the time. You don't want to be a self-centered muppet just walking around only ever thinking about yourself. So one thing I've learned about in 2020 is, yes, you need to have hard boundaries, soft boundaries, but you also need to learn the art of compromise. My fifth and final lesson for this week in my 2020 series is one that might actually surprise you guys, because it has nothing to do with my emotional well-being or anything like that, but it is the fact that a lot of the time men and women are pitted against each other, and you see it all the time on social media. You always see, this girl's a thought, this guy's a fuck buddy, this guy's a waste man, basically. Men are only after sex and women are too emotional and blah blah blah. And all this is just divisiveness. It's just a way to divide the genders, divide the sexes, try and pit men and women against each other. And one thing I've had to learn this year, and that's been extremely beneficial to me, is that men are just as emotional, sentimental, vulnerable, etc. as females are. And as females, we need to stop seeing guys as these cold-hearted beings that are only out for one thing, that only want to damage us and move on. And yes, there are people like that, but there are both men and women that are like that. And one thing, one lesson that we need to learn is that all humans are human. We all have fears, dreams, delights, loves, triggers, emotions, a soul, and in order to connect more with one another, connect more with our humanity in each other, we need to stop seeing each other as these kind of men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We're both from Earth. Come on now. Girls, men are not simply there for the D. They're not simply D appointments that you can call up. Likewise with guys. Women are not just there for your pleasure. We're not here to look pretty and make you feel like your dick is huge, So I think we need to just start connecting with each other on a more humane level. Start having in-depth conversations with the other sex. Try to understand the way that they think. Ask men more about their emotions, and men, open up more about your emotions. We know that you are deep and meaningful souls. It doesn't matter that society has told you have to be macho, that you can't cry, that you can't be soft, that you can't be walked over by a woman, whatever. Open up a little bit. Just remember that we are all human and that we all have this desire to connect. So that's my last lesson for this week, is just, men are not just there for hookups. They're not just there to rob us of joy. What? Who said that? But yeah, so those are my 5 lessons for this week. This will be my 3rd video in the series of my 2020 lessons learned, bringing in some project management speak in there. I've got a couple of weeks left, so if you'd like to get notifications of when I bring those out, go ahead and press that subscribe and bell notification button in order to get notifications of when I release my videos. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like my video today, if you like my lessons. Go ahead and let me know in the comments which one your favorite lesson was this week, if you can expand on any, or if you even have any suggestions for me as well. I hope you are all having an amazing mental health week. I will see you again for part 4 in the series. Take care.